everyone, it's Emily with Technique Tuesday, and for this month we're going to be focusing on mini albums. I've grabbed the Prima Memory album and has these 8 flaps and a magnetic closure. It's perfect for using for mixed media, which is something I really wanted to use for this album. I'm going to be scrapping my niece's Disney Junior Frozen play that she did, and I'm mainly using this 49 & Market Color Swatch Inkwell collection. I'm grabbing these collage sheets, which are perfect for this album. I just have to trim them down a little bit, and then I'm going to Mod Podge them onto the front and inside and back of my album to add that pretty blue color. I just put the Mod Podge down on the actual album itself and then layer the collage sheet on top, and then a whole nother layer of the Mod Podge on top of the collage sheet, and you can really do as much of the glue as you want. It just helps to secure it onto the actual album. And then I'm going to do the same thing here on the inside. I chose this pretty blue musical sheet for the inside where I want this picture of my niece Ellie in her cute Frozen t-shirt. So same process, just painting the glue onto the album and then putting that collage sheet right on top and painting over it. This way it'll stay super nice and it looks really nice once it's done. So now I'm going to start working on this photo film strip from the 49 & Market collection. I really wanted to make it into a photo booth type picture, so I'm using the film strip and I just sized down my photos to be 2 inches by 2 inches, and I'm just gluing the sides of the front of the pictures onto the back here, and then you can see how cute that turned out, and I want to be able to put that on the front of my flap here. So now I'm going to work with these really pretty new TCW stencil butters. I have the colors Summer Sky, Pink Lemonade, Seafoam, and Hydrangea, and they all work perfectly with this theme and all the colors I'm using. I'm just going through and applying them. I'm using different stencil knives for each color so I don't mix them in the jar, but mixing them together onto the snowflakes so I can get that cool color effect from the stencil and the stencil butter. So now while I'm letting that dry, I'm working on the back of my album here, and I'm doing again the collage sheet, so just the Mod Podge and another sheet of the collage paper I found in the pretty blue, and just painting over that with the Mod Podge again. And now for here I have our actual tickets from the play, which I really like to include because it does show the date and time and everything, and that's just something that she'll remember forever, and I really wanted to include it in there. It'll be something cool to look back on years from now. And then I decided to grab some of the laser cut sheets from the 49 & Market collection, and I chose just a couple embellishments to put on the back, as well as the one of the sayings that says "Picture Perfect Memories," which I felt went good with the theme. And again, I just Mod Podge all this stuff on to the back of this album, and then I used a little cherry dot and put one of the pretty butterflies on there. And I also wanted to incorporate some actual Frozen stickers since this is about her Frozen play. So I decided on this Elsa for one of the sides here, and then I also added another film strip and of course Olaf. He was super cute in the play, and definitely something to be remembered. So here I'm just gluing on the film strip, and then I'm now working on the front flap here where is going to be shown on the front of the album. So I chose a lighter color for the background collage strip, and I want to make sure to put that film strip on there. And I just glued that down and held it down for a little bit so it would stay. And then another one of the good things about 49 & Market is they have those beautiful rub-on transfers, and these work perfectly for embellishments that you don't necessarily want to add too much bulkiness. So I put this on the side of my album, and the words here say, "Great adventure, go seek, wander more." I just felt like this went well with the theme here, and I'm just adding that on as you would with any rub-on transfer. It works really well on this material for this album. And then I'm also deciding to add some of the blue splatter pieces onto each side. And those turned out really pretty. And here's the back and it's part of the front of my album, so the film strip and then the whole backing of it, and that's beautiful stencil butter. So moving on to the inside now, I'm going to do the same technique I just did onto the inside of that corner with some leaves, and I also wanted to incorporate one of those pretty butterflies from the rub-on transfers. So same process here, you just peel the back off if you've never used rub-on transfers before, and then you just scrape them on, and the tool's provided for you, and then it just peels off. And it just looks really beautiful. There's no lines or anything that you can see from it. So now I'm going to actually adhere this picture of Ellie to the front inside of this pretty blue musical sheet, and I'm using some cherry tape, and that turned out really pretty. And so there it is closed. You can see the front of it. And I'm figuring out which picture I'd like to use for the front, and I decided on this picture of Ellie with her hands out, which was kind of the main thing with Elsa, where she has her magical hands. So I Mod Podged that on. Then back to the inside, I just wanted to add another Frozen sticker, and then I was trying to figure out for these 8 flaps which pictures I kind of wanted to do where. And so I kind of decided I wanted this first one to be of her on the door. And I'm using the same technique, both of the same techniques pretty much throughout my entire album. So I have the collaging, and then I'm gluing down my photos, and then I'm actually doing it in order of I tried to do it in order of the play. So from her being in the play, and pictures of her with the characters. So again, just Mod Podging on that background, and then gluing on that picture of her there. So there's my first flap, looks pretty good. And then I decide to go ahead and glue on another film strip onto the inside to just kind of continue on with that theme, and just doing more of the Mod Podge. For this one, I just did the picture of her with the Olaf because I thought that was a really pretty picture, and I just wanted her featured in that. And for this one, I decided to use the rub-on transfers as a sort of background, and I just did the borders because I knew that the picture would cover up most of the background. And then for this, I did use cherry tape. So for some of the pictures, I used Mod Podge, and for some, I just used cherry tape, and they both work great. And then I'm just pretty much sizing down all my photos and picking which backgrounds I'd like for each individual one, whether it's the rub-on transfers or the collage sheets. And then the collage sheets, I just Mod Podge over them. And then here I have some pictures of her by herself and with people, members of the play. For this flap, I'm deciding to use both the 49 and Market rub-on transfers as well as the collage sheet. So I just cut that down to size and Mod Podged it on the left side. And then I used the 49 and Market rub-on, so the leaf, and then I also chose a butterfly here to go on that right side just to add a little bit of a different background. I decided to create this album. This is my first album for my niece and my sister and brother-in-law, and it was almost easier to do it for them than to do it for myself because we had this event and I really wanted to showcase it anyway. So if you're new to this, it was so much fun, and if you have some sort of event in your family's life that you want to document, I highly recommend using this album. It was a lot of fun and so perfect for something where you want to use mixed media. So here are all my pages, my flaps done. So now I'm just going to go through and add some embellishments. So I decided I wanted Ellie's name on the front of the album. So I'm just using a little glue on the top of my sticker here, just to make sure with that stencil butter and mixed media I used, we just want to make sure it sticks onto there. So her name is Ellie, so I'm doing E-L-L-I-E, almost the same as Elsa, right? And then I decided to add some honeybee gems by her hands here, and some sequins because she's doing the Elsa pose, right, with the ice. So I kind of wanted to play on that theme a little bit. I'm using the Sizzix tool to pick up the sequins and place them where I'd like them. And it works really well, especially if you want to pick out certain sequins like I did. And then I'm adding a couple of the dots to the inside of the snowflakes on the outside. So I'm gonna just continue on adding embellishments to the inside of my album here. Again, adding them to the center of my snowflakes, just mixing it up between the honeybee gems and sequins. And then I found this really cute sticker that says "You are magic," and I knew I had to put this at the bottom here, right below Ellie, and I just felt like the magic kind of went with the theme of Elsa and Frozen in the play. So now I'm just continuing on each of my flaps with all these pretty sequins and embellishments from Honeybee, and the sequins are Catherine Pooler. And then I'm also here doing the same thing I did on the front with her hands. She's doing that Elsa pose, so I wanted the gems and the sequins to come off of her hands and kind of look like the ice from the Frozen play. And I really believe that you can never have too much embellishments. I think it kind of takes it to the next level as far as any type of project you're doing, really. So I found another sticker in that pack that I wanted to use, and this one said dream big. So I just wanted to put it here on the inside, just sticking them in, and making sure not to touch those magnets, because we want to make sure, I mean, with the stencil butter, it's already gonna affect the closure a little bit, but it should be fine. So then just adding more and more sequins onto each of my pages here, and then some more gems. And this is the fun part for me, and you watch it all come together, and here it is. So this is the front, and then you open it up and there's the inside, and flipping through each photo so I can show you all the pictures and the collage frames, the 49 and Market rub-on transfers, and the gems. So I really think this is something beautiful you could make for a family or a friend, or even for yourself if you have pets or children, of course. And of course, here is the side and back of the album. So thanks for watching. I hope this inspires you to create a mini album.